Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60 and Me. Welcome to a new day. Hope that you're doing great. I'm having a beautiful morning myself. It's very bright and sunny, and Mother Nature just sometimes amazes me with her power to energize. I feel really, really good today. I've got a cup of tea actually. It's from my Kuzmi collection. It's a tea that I really like. This is a little travel tin. It's called, this is Assam, and it's a dark tea. It's a loose tea, and so I get to just make a cup of tea as and when I want. But I hope that you got a cup of tea or coffee. I've got my beautiful little mug this morning. And tea just soothes me. I don't know, it just makes me feel like everything's okay with the world. I know that some of you women in the States prefer coffee. It's just that same psychology of, I don't know, just treating yourself to something that you love. So my tea is my way. But perhaps you've got something else. But anyway, I hope that you're doing great. That's the most important thing, because the topic we're going to talk about today, I think, will be of interest to a lot of you. And we know it's a complex time. Being 60 is not easy, right? We know this. There's a lot of focus in our society on youth and young people and their issues, as it should be. There should be interest in the next generations. But women over 60 particularly are finding a challenge. That's why we started this community, this 60 and Me community, to help people find friends on the journey, and hopefully, be inspired to not give up, to reinvent yourself. And, we've got content in lots of different places. If you haven't discovered it already, go out to our website, which is 60andme.com. And it's got, so many articles now on topics from well-being to financial security, downsizing, beauty, fashion. I do music. I do beauty makeovers occasionally, and we just do all kinds of fun things for women over 50, really. So we've got actually a deck of cards that we've just produced, which are really fantastic to sort of help you be inspired during this time. It's pretty tricky, but we put together this lovely deck. It's called Aging Beautifully. I'll show you the box. It's Aging Beautifully. And it's 46 cards on topics that we think are of interest to you. You've told us these are on your mind. And then on the front, beautiful artwork, really colorful and inspiring. And then on the back, we've got a paragraph or two that I wrote to sort of support the theme and just to give you something to meditate on. I get up every morning and I pull a card and I just think about it, and it's always something that I can relate to. So if you're interested, the link will be in the section below. So it kind of relates now to very much to this topic that I'm going to chat about. It's an article that Maureen Lake wrote. She's one of our bloggers, and we've covered this topic before, but it's one of those that it's just important. It's just something that we all think about all the time, and that is loneliness. Feeling a little bit socially isolated. Now, before you sort of give up and say, I've heard this before, and then start to list your conditions, the things that are unique about you. Let's just look at the things that link us all. And that is simply that we don't have the same context in our 60s as we did in our 30s, 40s. And we just don't have the workplace environment where we meet people every day, where we have a routine of meeting new people, making friends. Our children, or if haven't got children, our context of family life has changed. People have moved all around the world, and there we are by ourselves, without the context and the sort of circumstances that made making friends easier as we were a little bit younger. Now, Maureen says, you'd expect that given all of that we'd be very eager to make a connection. And according to her, there's a book by a lady called, it's Elizabeth Bernstein. She did an article called The Art of Lonely, Alone or Lonely, Alone or Lonely. And it was on the New York Times, I think. And she said that there's many levels of loneliness, and you'd expect women to want to, be engaged, but they really have trouble. They hold back, and they find all kinds of excuses and conditions for not making friendship. Now, I'm not judging here. I'm not making any, you know me, I don't do that. But I do think that there's a point, though, with loneliness that you have to recognize the type of loneliness that you're facing. And some are more, kind of deep and difficult than others. But you've got to decide you want to change your habits. Because if you don't, you really will not make friends in your 60s. Now, at 60 and Me, we actually tried an app for friend matching, and it didn't work. And that's a long story. Very disappointing. We put it out there free of charge and it just didn't work. People did not use it. Now, I'm being really honest with you and open because, sometimes people say, Margaret, why don't you do some kind of a directory or, let people connect with each other? It's hard. It's hard. And it's hard for the reason that Maureen mentions, and that is that people have set up, women and men have set up conditions around making new friends. Okay, so there are some that are understandable. First of all, if you've moved to a new city or a new house, a new place, yes, you're going to feel lonely. You're going to feel without the context of that group of people that you knew before. Sometimes you feel different. You just feel different than everybody else. You're not interested in the same things anymore. You don't care about clothing or stuff. You don't maybe like to travel. You just have got a set of circumstances that makes you, in your mind, different. You've got family or friends, but no intimate relationships. This is a challenging one because a lot of women in their 60s, have worked very hard to be independent and to do things on their own and not need the help of another person, particularly another man perhaps, and they just want, that's it. They just don't want to give up that independence. So that's a challenge too, that you need that intimacy and you want it, but at the same time, you don't want the conditions that go with it. It may be that you are too busy, you've got lots going on, and you don't trust people. You just don't want them in your life. But yet at the same time, you do. It's just that conflict. It's really, really challenging. Or maybe you just want peace after a hectic and busy and maybe chaotic and difficult life. You want some peace. Now, if you're feeling lonely in that situation, it's probably by choice and it's probably okay. So I guess in the great scheme of things, loneliness is, there's a spectrum of really feeling lonely, depressed, and anxious, and then feeling relieved and free and spacious. And I think that's the challenge and opportunity that we have when we're talking about this topic. So the depth of the challenge of loneliness is dependent on the situation that you're in. All I can say, and I'm just saying this with a heart, that's as honest as I can be, it takes hard work. It takes determination. It takes strength, courage, and a willingness to change your habits if you want to make friends in your 50s and 60s and beyond. If you aren't prepared to really put that effort in, then you probably are happy in the situation that you're in, or you just don't want to change those habits. There's some. If you can know if you're lonely just by how you feel, of course. But if you've got bad sleeping habits, for one thing, if you're getting sick a lot, your immune system is broken down, if you're just feeling sort of low energy and lethargic and depressed all the time, then these are probably the loneliness triggers that might need some help. Now, I talked earlier about being strong and courageous and brave and all of that. Well, it's not that easy, is it? And sometimes we have to ask for help. And I think there's plenty of groups in your community that perhaps can be of assistance. You'd be surprised, actually, how many groups there are set up for meetings and meetups and just gatherings that you can be involved in. If there's anything that you love, if it's reading or walking or cooking or talking, whatever you love to do. Do you love to travel? There's always something that you can find in your community. And if not, well, then maybe try something completely new. Try something that you've never done before. And that may be the doorway to a new you, to a new person and new people in your life. And I think that's the secret that Maureen's talking about here is that, if you can just try to be open-minded to making some changes in your habits and your behaviors, then you may not be so lonely. One thing that Maureen talks about, which I absolutely myself do believe in very much, and that is meditation. How many of you meditate? And by meditate, I mean sitting still 10, 15 minutes a day or whenever you can to just reflect on your breath, on your thinking, and to just not move with the thoughts, to stay isolated from the thoughts. Getting a little cold. But anyway, meditation for me has saved me many times through difficult situations. In fact, I've just gone to my practice whenever I needed it, and it's been a huge help. So I think most of us at some point in our life suffer from loneliness. And I'd love to know more about what you've done to get over that and to break through it, or whether you're perfectly happy where you are as a single solo person. that may be your life too, and you may love it. But for those who don't, what kinds of things do you do? Actually, I found a card from my deck here that I really liked for this particular topic, and it's kind of in many ways that the heart of all of this, and that's stop hiding. I think if you're lonely and you're feeling socially isolated and you don't like that feeling, then maybe there's an opportunity to stop hiding and come out, join some groups, join some people, try to meet new friends. And this actually maybe talks to some of you. It says, when you experience dark times, it's natural to retreat inside yourself. You're lonely. It's natural to retreat. But you don't need to fight the darkness alone. When life gets you down, don't retreat. Expand, give with all your heart, and you will soon be finding yourself back in the light. Hopefully that's helped. I know this is a difficult subject and we've talked about it a lot, but I think it's good to remind ourselves now and again that there are options, that there are places you can go, people you can meet, and you don't have to be lonely and alone and in your 60s. And we're here too. The community is here as well. And by the way, if you want a little bit more of a private conversation, you might want to check out our Patreon community, patreon.com/60andme. We actually talk to each other there in a little bit different format. It's off the Facebook format. It's just in a kind of forum. And it requires that you subscribe to pay about $3, anything you can afford to support 60andme. And if you're able to do that, Patreon might be a good place to come and chat to. Helps you if you're feeling a little bit on your own. It's another option. So thanks again for being here, everybody. Have a really wonderful day, and look forward to speaking with you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.